downfalling. Then after that, if a Muslim state downfall, then we'll have a rise of another great Muslim state. All over the history, from the Prophet ﷺ till 100 years ago, we have the greatest power in the world, or one of the greatest power in the world. When the Rashidun ended, we have the Umayyads. When the Umayyads ended, we have the Abbasids, the Mamluks, the Ottomans. All time in the history, we have one of the greatest power in the world. The discussion among the West 100 years ago was, if the Ottomans downfall, who will fill the vacuum? They were very much afraid that a new great Muslim power will emerge. This discussion was among them, how to avoid the emergence of a new great Muslim power. One of the answers was, if they established a state in the heart of the Muslim Ummah, separating Asia from Africa, I mean in Palestine, then it will be so difficult for Muslims to unite and to establish or re-establish themselves. The idea here is to bring a nation who are different in religion, different in language, hostile to the people. And that's why they supported the establishment of the Jewish state. Yes, it is not a matter only of religious things. It was political, it was strategic, it was economic, and so on. All these combinations of factors help in supporting this. But their question, if we fill the vacuum by establishing a Jewish state in Palestine, then you see here, this is a formula. As long as Jewish state or this state strangers are strong, the condition for their continuity being strong all over the time is that all the states, all the areas around them to be weak. All the areas around them, which is Muslim areas, to be disunited. All the areas around them to be backward. So if they want to guarantee their continuity, their progress, they must guarantee the weakness, the backwardness, the disunity of the Muslims. And in this case, they will guarantee that Muslim civilization or Muslim revival will never come. And that's why, from the establishment of this state till now, we are still weak, we are still disunited, we are still backward. Why? Because it is a cancer in the heart of the Muslim Ummah. Okay, now, if the Muslims wanted to have revival, to have great powers and so on, they should unite. They should be in the front of the civilizational powers and so on. And they should not be weak or backward. And if they become strong, then it is the end of this state. So the condition of our revival is to face this state. And the condition of their strength and continuity is to keep us weak and disunited. And here is your efforts as Muslims to know that it is our duty. Why should we face such things against Muslims? So it is not against Palestinians, it is not only against Arabs, it is against all of us as Muslims. But they used the Western ideas to be a vehicle, the Western powers to be a vehicle to achieve their Western powers use them also to achieve their goals. Because when you are weak and disunited and backward, you will be a market. You will be a market for their goods. You will just only give them raw material and they will send it back to you to sell it to you. And this is what's going on, unfortunately, in that area. It seems that I should be finishing. Of course, there were many efforts of the Zionists in establishing themselves and being or making themselves as strong as they can. And I just ask you to refer to the paper to see some details. But here, I want to mention just one or two ideas very quickly. One of the ideas is that this Israeli state is enjoying the coverage or the umbrella of the great powers, especially USA and before that Britain. And it is a country which considered itself above law. This racist country is going against history because racism and hatred cannot establish civilization. Racism and hatred cannot establish peace. And this country, which established themselves on the pains and the wounds of the another people, of the Palestinians victims, is a country without values. This racist state is without borders, without constitution. So it is a very big question. Why such a state is existing in this way? A state without borders, without constitution, without values, a racist state, a state which just only giving privilege to followers of one religion. Why? And this is a very big question to us as Muslims. Those are going against the international law. Even when you are talking about United Nations and the Security Council, when it matters to the Palestinian issue, you will find something amazing, very different. Since 1948 till now, the United Nations issued more than 530 resolutions in support of Palestine. About the right of return of Palestinian refugees, we have the biggest problems of refugees in the world. 70% of the Palestinian people are refugees everywhere in the world. And it is the longest problem. We have more than 110 resolutions in support of the right of return of Palestinians. Why 530 resolutions? Why more than 110 resolutions never employed, never executed? Because in the Security Council, which is, this is the system of the United Nations, USA will put vetoes, will not accept to implement any kind of resolutions. And this is the question. Why when it comes to Iraq, or it comes to Libya, or Sudan, or East Timor, they only need one decision to be implemented? Why nothing is being implemented when it comes to the Palestinian issue? This is dhulm, this is oppression, this is unfair. And that's why we should not wait to have one more decision, or that it is good to work in the international community, but it is our duty to let the others know that we should become united, we should become powerful, because if those people cannot agree or accept the language of understanding, then the only language they understand is the language of fighting in the way of Allah and jihad. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.